Just 2 short weeks ago was July 4th, America's 250th birthday. And on that day, I gave a celebratory sermon about how wonderful the USA is for us Jews. And it was all truthful. But on the Shabbat Chazon, the saddest Shabbat of the year, I will also add an Eicha. Alas, how come anti-Semitism is still so widespread? Here in the US, we were supposed to be the safest, and obviously all around the world. And how is it this week that so many people in Congress thought that they should vote to weaken Israel, withhold vital aid to the only democracy in the Middle East, thinking that that is in America's interest? And how is it that people who need to call out a senator candidate who is being charged with sexual assault, and they are being called AIPAC shills for calling that activity out and saying he's not worthy to be a senator? Of course, none of these things are true. There is no logic to anti-Semitism. But it seems that perpetuating false narratives is actually part of human psychology. Moses recounts in this week's Parsha how we Israelites are also guilty of hyperbole. 12 scouts went to look at the land. It was indeed flowing with milk and honey, but 10 of them were anxious and said, "We are not going to be able to take this land. They are giants and we are grasshoppers." And the people of Israel took hold of those false narratives. Even Joshua, the next in line from Moses, was unable to quell the panic. They were blinded by their anxiety of fear and actually transferring their fear onto the blame of the Canaanites. You see, they're too big. We're not going to be able to go in. It is impossible. We need to turn around. We are not responsible for our fears. They are the ones who actually are giving us threat. Anti-Semitism rose in the beginning of Christianity. For these early Christians, they knew that Jesus was Jewish and they were declaring a new covenant. But there were still adherents of the old covenant around, and that existence challenged their truth claims about Jesus. And so they gave into their urge to dehumanize, persecute, and eventually kill some Jews. But we have never disappeared. We are that tiny minority that lives all over the globe, which is a great thing, but also has made us the world's best scapegoats. And so today still, anti-Semitism is widespread with the same exact tropes that are 100 years of old. The blood libel. AIPAC shill just means that we are this cabal trying to take over the world. In 19th century, anti-Semitism went from hate just because we believe in the Torah, a religion, to an actual racist hatred. We know what resulted: the Holocaust. And then this racism spread to the Middle East. We can trace it to one man, Amin al-Husseini, who literally sat at the feet of Hitler, may his name be erased, and imported the Nazi handbook to the Middle East. Islamic terrorism was born. Logical arguments, explanations for why these tropes are false and why the Jews are good people will not work. Anti-Semitism is a sickness of the irrational mind, just as the people during the Scouts age said we're not going to be able to go into the land. Yes, it's disconcerting. It's overwhelming. We just want to give up. Can we ever stem and just end anti-Semitism forever? Likely not. It is going to exist in our lifetimes and into the future. But my exhortation to us on this day is do not give up. Do not give up the fight, and certainly do not give up hope. Most people are not haters. We are not born to hate. We have to be taught. And all cultures have a version of the golden rule. This week, the film The Odyssey came out. And of course, Christopher Nolan, the writer and the director, has been all around doing the interview circuit. And he brings up that one of the focuses that he has in the film is Xenia. He calls it Zeus's law to make it a little bit easier. And that is, when a stranger comes to your door and looks like a pauper, it might be a Greek god in disguise. So you have to treat him with respect and dignity. The golden rule, treat others as you want yourself to be treated. Doesn't matter if it's Xenia or V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. So what is our work to do as we combat anti-Semitism? Do what we can to humanize ourselves as Jewish and to connect to people's hearts. I guarantee there is a silent majority of people yearning to be morally good as human beings. A colleague of mine, Rabbi Stephen Wernick, who used to run the United Synagogue, was in Israel for the Hartman Institute. And they took a trip to the West Bank. And they met Khaled. Khaled reminds me of Isam, who was a Palestinian who came here over Shavuot. Khaled's son was killed by settlers. And instead of holding on to hate, he actually found a group of young settlers who also want to treat Palestinians with human rights. And together they have built a community center. They know that they are fighting 80 years of fear, anxiety, violence, mutual hatred on both sides. And they want to do what they can to make sure that no more children are killed. Wernick accepts that we are not going to bridge this chasm between Israelis and Palestinians anytime soon. But he understands, and these people, Khaled and Isam, and all the people on the Israeli side, Yitzchak Sokolov, who came and joined us, these young settlers, understand that the checkpoints, the permits, this shared land with no shared future, and the mutual fear is unsustainable. And so these people, Khaled, Isam, and Yitzchak, they are building and planting seeds, choosing engagement over fear. And that's what we can do today. Choose engagement over fear. We're not in Israel, but we're in Great Neck, we're in the United States. We have political leaders who are also questioning the Jews and having anti-Semitic thoughts. So we can also choose engagement over fear. Try to meet somebody, share who you are. Even if it's just one seed at a time, those seeds can germinate. The Jews have survived by never forgetting our tragedy, and so Wednesday night we will sit on the floor and cry out, Echa, alas. But also we Jews have survived by never giving up hope. And so the book of Echa ends on Wednesday night. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva, chadesh yameinu kekedem. God, return to us, and we are going to return to you. And we are going to renew this world like the days of old when we can live in peace together. Amen.